Hey everybody, Anish here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious. Back at you today with a very, very important video on how to make any time of year the ideal time of year for you to level up and get what you're after on the career side. Whether it's landing a better job, whether it's finally hitting that C-suite role, whether it's pivoting between industries, whether it's leaving a toxic boss behind, whatever the reason is, the number one thing I'm here to impress upon you is don't fall for this trap where you see people trying to outsmart the market. Well, this month, is historically, bad for hiring. Is it really? I'm going to dispel a couple of these myths in this video. And so I'm just going to, sit back on my laurels. The people who are the most successful take consistent action no matter what time of year it is, what day of the month it is, what hiring period it is. That makes no difference because they understand that you win based on the amount of time you spend in the water, right? People are out there thinking, oh, the perfect job, the perfect thing. Well, that's not how it actually works out there. The people who are out there building the relationships, networking, the people who are out there pursuing roles and opportunities, looking to close, looking to negotiate, the people who are consistently out there are going to get the lion's share of opportunities. So the number one thing I would tell you is there's no time of year almost that is so bad that you shouldn't be taking consistent effort. None, okay? Just look at this as your roadmap to get around the myths, the crap, and actually make some educated decisions based on where you happen to be right now in terms of how to proceed forward and how to make the most of this time. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of key areas here. Okay, and we'll go through some of the major times of the year, and wherever you are right now, I want you to think about how this impacts you. Okay, so January, February. Right? Generally speaking, and I want to close some of the gaps here psychologically, and also I want to give you some insight on the hiring side because I've been a job seeker and I've been a career coach now for many years. And there's a lot of missing pieces of information that I notice that job seekers aren't aware of that is negatively impacting what they do and how they choose to do it. So let's start with January, February, okay? Generally speaking, this is where the budgets are high. This is where the need is high. There is a deep desire to say, fresh year, fresh start. Let's bring in new people. This is where companies are typically tapping their senior executives saying, who do you know? Is there anyone that you know that you can bring in? And a lot of traditional hiring is going on as well, right? A lot of job postings, a lot of new shakeups there. A couple of key things that I want to highlight to you, okay? Over and above pursuing and what you're doing there. This is a great time for long-term bricklaying, longer-term webinars, presentations, articles, longer form posts and assets. If you're a graphic design, working on your portfolio, whatever that is, now January, February is when you want to put in some serious work on those things. They're going to pay off for you later down the year should you need it, okay? So yes, high activity. Yes, high urgency. Networking should be the number one idea that you have right now. And there's a lot of upscaling of activity. But January, if you jump in really right from the get-go, you have a massive, massive advantage. Because later on in the month, into February, it starts getting really, really hectic. And as the noise increases, that's good and bad, right? Noise increasing means it's harder for you also to get traction, right? And get that kind of face time that you need. So really use January in particular within that period as a massive, massive value add. Okay, so March, April, and May. Usually what is going on here across industries, okay? And yes, there are changes and vagaries every year, but basically speaking, March, April, and May is when there's continued momentum. The deeper bricklaying you've been doing, whether it's storytelling assets or social media assets or branding assets, this is where it's really going to come into play because now the noise has crested to a place where you need those deeper assets. You need more attached to your LinkedIn profile than just a 3-line post, right? You need some more things to help establish that authority, help establish that credibility. If you don't have it now, or you haven't been working on it, or it's the first time you're looking at it, it's going to be very unlikely you're going to have that edge. But people who've been using January and February to build out some of those deeper assets are really seeing an advantage here, okay? Also, probe for urgency. And one other thing I neglected to mention, okay? January, February, effective follow-ups are absolutely key, okay? You must follow up. I don't mean a week from the interview. I mean the day after the interview. And ideally, that follow-up should be all about the uncovered pain, not yourself and how great of a candidate you are. That is so critical in January, February, because those good patterns are going to help you in January, February. They're going to help you doubly and triply in March, April, and May. Effective follow-ups are absolutely key. It is amazing how many people get the roles simply because they cared enough about it to send a message based on the pain that needs to be solved, reiterating what we've been talking about, arcing in for a follow-up the day after. That's it. That's why they have it. So please don't ignore that because a moment of shyness overtake you or you don't want to be too pushy. There is no such thing as pushy when we're trying to solve real problems and we're galvanized towards it. So March, April, May, there's a continued flux of that. I want you to also think about probing for urgency. A lot of companies you're going to be interviewing with in March, April, and May, they've already hired someone. They tried to solve this problem in January, February. Why isn't it working? Why are they back here? You've got to understand the extra level of pain that they are in, because the more you understand that, the more leverage you have. So you must be probing for urgency. What have you done to previously solve this problem? Okay, June, July, August, this is where we get into some of those typical summer doldrums. August, I tend to really go low in because even with, things like a pandemic, it's hard to get those eyeballs there. But June, July, I would really play it by ear. And specifically, June and July to me are my experimentation months. These are the months where I'm a mad scientist. I'm not doing job postings and all of that because trying to get the attention on the hiring side is very difficult. It's difficult for them as well to get everyone around to get an agreement through traditional hiring. So screw the traditional hiring. If 80 to 90% of the roles out there are created without ever going through a job posting, June and July is when you're making that your number one focus. Obviously, I'm biased. I would make that your focus all through the year, but certainly June and July, you have no choice. You got to make it all about high-level relationship building. Ignore the job postings. Ignore the follow-ups when it comes to that. Make it all about building relationships with the high-level people who are going to benefit you no matter what and are most likely feeling the deep pain of what you solve. That should be your number one focus there. Be an experimenter. Go higher level. Take advantage of the fact that there's also less noise right now during the summer months, which means more access to the high level. September, October, second wave. We were talking about January, February, March. Now, September, October, you're going to see that second wave. People are getting really serious. Increased urgency on the side of employers. Again, good follow-up behavior is key. Finally, November and December, this is a chance for you to rewrite the narrative. They say not much hiring goes on in November, December. Again, we've seen major shifts in this trend here. So you can't say that as a be-all and an end-all anymore, okay? But what you certainly can say is, you're trying to hire in November and December, you have a desperate problem that needs to be solved. So again, probing for urgency is absolutely critical. The further in the year you are, the more desperate their circumstances are. And the more you're able to get an honest acknowledgement of what is really going on, not only is that setting yourself up for success, it's setting them up for success finally in the hire. So please don't ignore that, okay? So just a couple of tips that will help you make any time of year ideal for landing your dream job. Guys, remember, at the end of the day, pain is the ultimate master. Pain is the dictator. Okay? If a company, if a person, if a client, anyone is in pain, they want to solve to that pain. You know what the best time was for them to solve that pain? Yesterday. You know what the second best time is? Right now. You stand for that urgency. Watch how these doors open up for you. All right? If you want to go deeper into my world, the next place you want to go to is helloanish.com, HELLOANISH.com. Follow me on LinkedIn. Follow me on YouTube. Keep the questions coming. And above all, keep believing in a better, amazing outcome for you and your family. Yes, it is possible. Yes, you can do it right now. Talk soon, guys.